I was just at a convenience store and I bought a six-pack. I haven't bought a six-pack in a long time. Not the point of the story. They asked me for a tip. Not only did the cashier not help me at all during my time in the store, he actually ignored me and was talking to other customers while I was waiting in line with one item. But when the tip screen came on, I automatically hit 15%. Didn't realize it until after I checked out. Tip machines prey on people pleasers and people with ADHD who get easily distracted. And I'm both.
Tipping in the United States has gotten out of control. Just finished dinner in Italy, had a great 3-course meal, paid the bill, the waiter brings out the check and goes, "Sign here, please." I go to sign it and there's only a line to sign your name. There's no tip line, there's no total line, nothing. You just sign your name, that's it. Meanwhile, in America, you pay for a water bottle and they flip the screen around and ask you to tip 20 to 30% for grabbing a water bottle. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to tip for great dinner service. Like this guy in Italy deserved a fat tip. But to tip for a Starbucks employee to hand me a water bottle, like where do we draw the line, seriously?
At the risk of being called broke, I gotta ask. Can we all admit that this tipping shit has gotten out of control? And don't get me wrong, restaurants, I get it. Waitresses, waiters, I know y'all only making about 45 cents an hour. And that's crazy. So I get it. The minimum I tip is about 15%. And I could tip up to 100% of the bill. It just depends on how I'm feeling. The drunker I am, the more I'm finna tip. You understand me? But if I'm placing an order online for some food and you're making me pay online, like there's no option for me to pay at pickup, don't ask me for no damn tip. I ain't even seen the food yet. What? I haven't even seen the food. I don't know what's going on with the food. I could get there and it looked like trash and I'm already tipped 20%. You got to be kidding. What? And not to mention you folks that be providing services. I just seen this video. This girl went to go get a massage. They asked her to pay for the massage before she got the massage, and then asked for a tip before she got the massage, and then got mad when she tipped like 10%. What? That's crazy. What be on y'all's mental for real? Why not just increase your, if you want the tip that bad, increase your prices.
So tipping is just getting out of control. I was just at Starbucks picking up a coffee in the drive-thru, and I get to the front and I'm paying and he's like, "Oh, I was just gonna ask you a quick question." And we all know what that means. Tipping, fine, but what am I tipping for? If I have to tip for this, like what's next? Yeah, nurse, looks like we got him back. Hey Johnny, good to see you. Hey, before we hook you up to the ventilator, it's just gonna ask you a quick question.
Did I miss something? Because I'm completely confused. So I just go to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream and a Blizzard for Doodlebug. So my total was $7.68. So I gave the lady $8 in cash. So she takes my $8 and she says, a minute later, she comes back to the window. Do you really want your 32 cents? And I looked a little confused. I said, yes. So she kind of got an attitude. Okay. So she closes the window. So I'm sitting here like, why would I not want my change? I'm just a little confused. So she comes back and she's going to give me the 32 cents. And I'm like, do people not normally want their change? Because I'm confused by what the hell just happened. And she says, well, you know, people normally tip. The fuck? What is going on with this tipping culture? I fully understand tipping when I am getting a service done outside of their normal job. Like if I'm ordering groceries, if I am going to a restaurant and they are serving me my food, if I'm at, you know, wherever that they do not make a full salary. What the hell am I tipping you for? You're already getting paid to work at Dairy Queen. So what am I tipping you more for? I am confused as hell. So now she has an attitude because I want my 32 cents in change. Absolutely, I want my 32 cents. The fuck is wrong? Look, y'all have gone too far with this tipping culture, period.
And you'll tip me $0, then $3 of that will come out of my money.
How does Texas Roadhouse pay you?
They pay us $2.13 an hour.
Okay, and then they'll match to minimum if you don't make that in tips, right?
Yes. That really happens though. So we make minimum wage if we were to make that.
If you didn't get tips to cover from that to minimum.
Yes.
So then how does tipping out work? So a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we take 3% of our sales, and that's split amongst the buzzers and the hosts. So if the table tips you and doesn't tip you anything at all, then that'll come out of our personal money. Does that make sense?
so if it was like the whole night was like $1,000 worth of
Yeah.
food sold,
Yes.
you have to pay 3% of that
Yes.
out of your tips.
Yes. Honestly, all restaurants are like
And
that. So technically, say y'all's tab was like $100,
Yeah.
and y'all tip me $0, then $3 of that would come out of my money.
So if we don't, so we shouldn't tip you anything. Is what you're
I
saying.
mean, I would pay to serve y'all, but I mean, y'all were fun, so it would be okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all.
To Shake Shack. Placed my order on an iPad. I got absolutely no service. Yet on the iPad, I got asked if I wanted to tip. And they had the audacity to start at 15, 18, or 20%. Or how about this one? I went to a bar, I bought a drink, and in my receipt has a tipping option at the bottom. But they sneakily put in a service charge right above the tipping option. So whether I want to or not, I have to tip either way. Why are they asking me to tip twice? And then there's Starbucks. So I ordered my drink, which is already like $5, and then they have the audacity to ask me to tip as well. As someone who's worked in the hospitality industry for over 5 years, I strongly believe that tipping is correlated with the service that you offer. If you're already getting paid and it's your job to take an order and hand over a coffee, why do you have to ask for a tip? I'm not against tipping in general. I appreciate when somebody goes out of their way to ask me how my meal was, and I reward that with a tip to thank them. But when I get asked for money and I get nothing in return, is that really on me? I don't believe in tipping, and here
I am literally checking myself out for my chicken at this machine, and it's asking me if I'd like to tip.
Can we talk about tipping for a second? Because I feel like tipping is just out of control. I can understand when you go to a restaurant and you tip because the server is taking care of you. They're bringing you drinks, they're getting you refills, they're getting your order right, they're getting your food out on time, they're clearing dishes, they're doing they're providing a service, right? But I feel like everywhere you go now, they ask for a tip. You go to Subway, you get a sandwich, they ask for a tip. You go to Starbucks, they ask for a tip. If you want a tip, that's all well and grand, but I feel like tips are expected. Here's a perfect example. The Starbucks here in my town, when you go to order your drink, I'll order my drink. I want a iced caramel macchiato, please, extra caramel drizzle. And they say, okay, your total is $6.29. And then before you can swipe your card, a screen comes up and it says, would you like to tip or not? And it gives you the options, 20%, 18%, 15%, what have you. If I go down and I scroll down to no tip because I'm not going to tip that day, they haven't completed my order yet. The guy that's going to make my drink in 2 minutes, potentially, is knowing that I just went down and hit no tip because the total didn't change from $6.29 to $8.50 or whatever it is after tip. He knows that I hit no tip. So is he, not going to do a great job of my drink? Is he going to make it wrong? Is he having a bad day? Like, I feel like if you're going to tip, it should be like a post service kind of exchange, right? Like a server would never ask you to tip 20% before your meal's even completed and they haven't done their job. Tipping. Can you guys tell me where you tip, where you don't tip, when you think it's appropriate? Because I just don't know anymore.
You know tipping culture is bad in America when I have to go to custom tip and manually put 0. They are so petty that they will do anything in their power to make you start at 18%. And if you don't want to do that bullshit, you have to go to custom tip and manually type it. To whoever designed that thinking it would bring in more money, I can tell you right now that it's completely backfiring. I think most people would tip if it just started at 10 or 15%. But if you're starting your tip at 18% and you're making the page unskippable, I will gladly take the time to go to custom tip and put a fat fucking 0.
Modern day tipping has become a scam! So I saw this on X today of some dude who went into a coffee shop, and when he went to order his coffee and the tip screen came up, the screen said, leave a tip, not optional. And then the 3 pre-selected options were 30%, 35%, and 50%. Not even Indian scammers are pulling these numbers. And then I see this one where the business just straight up put a sticker over the no tip. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but quick services like throwing shit in a bag or making a cup of coffee, which is literally just your job to do, doesn't require a tip, let alone that much. On top of that, since when did our culture shift to people being entitled to a tip? The word tip in and of itself is optional. Are we really gonna blame the customer for companies underpaying their employees for them to rely on the generosity of normal, everyday working Americans? And this really isn't for rich people. I mean, if y'all want to tip like crazy, go ahead. But if you add up how much tips are for a normal American, it's a lot of damn money. It's like a couple months' rent over the year. Stop this nonsense, okay? Working at Starbucks doesn't mean you're a part of a charity.